The pilot episode. Here we go. Let me check my notes here. Welcome to 11 Good Minutes, hosted by Matt and Glen. We do good news and wholesome banter. It's a family show, rated G for Glen.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's start with a little bit of gratitude. Glen, give me one thing today that you're grateful for. What do you got?
Today, I am grateful for Her Loss, the new 21 Savage and Drake album. It's an absolute hit. What you got?
This man's consistent, at least. Sure, that's not the last we'll be hearing of that. I'm going with your AirPods because your AirPods are going to make the sound quality of this podcast much better than if you weren't using the AirPods. So shout out to your AirPods. Grateful for them. And the listeners should be grateful too.
You're welcome, listeners.
Yes, you're welcome, listeners. Glenn, all the way from Santa Cruz, California. And I'm sitting here in my living room in Raleigh, North Carolina. We got coast to coast covered today.
You know what it is.
Glenn, hit us with some good news.
Some good news. I mean, I kind of already said it before. I was already grateful for it. The Her Loss, 21 Savage and Drake. Absolute hit. A lot of people didn't like Drake's last album. Thought he fell off, but he let everyone know he's still the top dog.
Still the top dog. Not a Drake fan myself. A little controversial. Depending on who you are, whether you categorize that as good news or not, but it's Glenn. He's got a big smile on his face. You can't say no to that. Just like that time that you got that free brownie in the ice cream shop.
Oh, man, that's unforgettable. Just like this album.
Oh, God. Good news. Johnny B. Dusty Baker Jr. at the age of 73 won his first World Series after roughly 27 years managing in the big leagues. It's Dusty Baker. Dusty, two gloves himself. I didn't know that he played 19 years in the big leagues. Gold Glover, World Series champion in 1981 as a player. Yeah.
Dang, Dusty.
Yeah, just things you don't know.
I had no idea.
Third African-American manager in the history of the game to win a World Series. But here's an interesting one for you. He is the oldest manager across the four major sports in the United States to win a championship. So on top of all of the wholesome content that he's producing on social media after winning, because anything with Dusty Baker celebrating the championship brings a smile to our faces.
Gotta love
Yeah, legendary. And on top of that, he was rewarded with a contract extension from Houston to run it back next year. So, yeah, little golf clap for Dusty. Very wholesome.
Dusty is living his best life right now.
That's it. Put a toothpick between your teeth tomorrow morning for Dusty.
Shout out Dusty.
All right, it is election week here in Los Estados Unidos. So we felt like we'd get in on the action, and we're going to nominate 2 SpongeBob characters for office. We're going to leave it up to you listeners based on who makes a better case. Maybe it's based on who you like better, because we've all seen SpongeBob, as to who you're going to vote for office. Glenn, I'm going to let you have the floor here for your nominee, and then I will bat second.
Here we go. I mean, it's a pretty obvious choice, Mr. Krabs. I mean, he's a money man. He's gonna make people money. He's quick on his feet. He knows how to run a business, and he knows how to deal with people. He manages SpongeBob and Squidward and all the patrons of Bikini Bottom who cause havoc in the Krusty Krab. So he's a money man and he knows how to deal with people. And he's also a very, very good leader. So Mr. Krabs for office.
There's a lot of holes in that argument. I'm not about to start shooting holes in the argument. I will say, very clever that he's quick on his feet. Anybody who's been to the beach who's tried to catch a crab knows that. So, yeah. All right. Well, Mr. Krabs, you got some stiff competition. Miss Sandy Cheeks. I'm nominating Sandy Cheeks. Hold on. Let me get to my notes here. 1. Sandy Cheeks is fearless. Let's go back 21 years. 21 years. Sandy Cheeks. When everyone was afraid of the Alaskan bullworm. Sandy Cheeks. Yeah.
Wow.
Glenn remembers that.
Wow.
Sandy Cheeks is fearless. She wrangled that bullworm, and she got that bullworm out of town. Even when SpongeBob was like, no, Sandy, don't. Sandy did.
Jeez, this is uphill battle already.
Number 2. Intelligent and logical. You can Google this. Sandy Cheeks' profession, scientist. Right? Trust the science. That's Sandy Cheeks right there.
Wow, this is stop.
Stop the fight. Nope. I got one more for you. She's adaptable. She's a land mammal that lives under the sea. Figure that one out. And now I get it, Mr. Krabs. You can go up above land, whatever. You know, crabs in the ocean, on land, whatever. But Sandy figured it out. She wasn't gonna be able to do that naturally, so she made herself a bubble. She's got a bubble under Sandy Cheeks. Vote Sandy Cheeks.
Wow, that is a very strong case you make, but people like money, so let's see what happens.
It's a good point. And this is America, capitalist society. So Mr. Krabs might be the choice. We want to hear from the listeners.
Money, 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 guys. Come on.
Who you voting for this year? Trust the science, Sandy Cheeks. All right. Last segment, wholesome banter. This one goes out to my buddy up in Vermont by the name of Nicholas Sarno because he's always great at hitting me with throwbacks. All right, so we're going to throw it back to elementary school. We're going to remember someone from elementary school. And Glenn, I'm going to let you go first here. Shout someone out.
I am going to shout out my 4th grade teacher. His name was Darwin from Nebraska. Just a very wholesome man. He took us on many adventures that were quite unforgettable. So I'm going to shout out Darwin.
Darwin from Nebraska, if you're listening, this pod right here, episode 1, is half dedicated to you.
This one's for you, Darwin.
The other half is dedicated to Artur Wyzyczenski.
Wow, what a name.
What a name. And we all know one of these, you know, whether it's in school or whether it's in sports or whatever it is. Artur Wyzyczenski was a year younger than all of us, but he was in our grade. He was playing up a level.
He was that guy.
Yeah, he was the kind of guy who showed up to school every day in a sweater vest, you know.
Oof, what a guy.
What a guy. You can look him up now. He was way smarter than everybody at the time, even though he was younger than all of us. And he is now a PhD candidate at Columbia, according to LinkedIn. Wow. The internet's undefeated. He also looks exactly the same as he did in 4th grade.
That's good genes.
It's really good genes. So shout out to Artur Wyzyczenski. Shout out to the Mies Masarno up in Vermont. He hit me with Jameson Arnold. the other day, and I can still see the Buffalo Sabres sweater. You know, that's second grade right there, Glenn.
I'm lost, but it sounds nice.
Darwin in Nebraska. Artur Wizichenski. What was that?
It's the laundry. My bad.
Glenn's doing laundry Wednesday night. Glenn's doing laundry during episode 1 of 11 Good Minutes. And you know what? It's about that time.
It should have been done already. That's my bad.
Yeah, that is your bad. But it's your good, too. Good news. We'll be back next week with 11 more Good Minutes with Matt and Glen. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.